Folks, gather round. Look what I just found. A 3v3 Rome 2 siege battle. Trust me, it will make you conjugate like cattle. Let's look at the attackers, and oh baby, it's Swaby. But they do not stand alone. I hope you're not eyeless, because we have the great warriors of Tylus. But wait, there's another, a strange one indeed. Look at their shields with bizarre encryptions. Ah yes, it must be the Egyptians. Let's now look at the defenders, and at this point, you must be going into tachycardia, because we have the mighty Parthia. Oh, and what's this? Another Greek colony? Massilia, they are wise men full of quality. Oh, but let us not speak too loud, for they are near us, and they can hear us, the brave and bold men of King Pyrrhus. So guys, sit back, relax, get some snacks and drinks, perhaps some tea full of ice, and while you're at it, leave a comment, something nice. And as I ramble in this mic, I would appreciate it if you left a like. All right, guys, I'm done with poetry hour because obviously you see a siege tower. Oh, okay, one more. I had one more in me. Anyways, we're here with the siege battle. So yeah, this one's a good one. So accordingly to the person who submitted this battle replay, this one comes down to the wire and it is insanely close. So I think we're in for a treat for a nice long battle that is going to have some grueling fights. This is a fun map. It's a pretty common map. It's a pretty popular map. And by the way, just as we're describing the map, we do have some units coming out of the settlement, mostly cav units. In fact, all cav units. Parthia, you always got, when you're facing Parthia, you always have to keep awareness. So you got to stay alert because they have some deadly cav and they can definitely do some damage if you're not paying attention. So yeah, this map here is great for choke points. I would say it goes in favor of the defenders slightly because there's a great choke point here. There's another great choke point here. You can hold a choke point here and here. You can even fall back and kind of hold here, but really the king choke points are these two right here. 99% of the time we see the most crucial part of the fighting, which is here and here, but sometimes it does. And a last-ditch effort is the defenders are backed up to these final locations. Once they break through these choke points, then it's just a big open fight for the Stonehenge, which is the victory point. So it'll be interesting to see how this plays out. Egypt is getting very aggressive. I did not expect them to charge in so quickly. And Parthia is using their cheaper troops to initiate this defense. They've got units that are they're capable of throwing projectiles such as javies, but they're not the best in terms of fighting. But the fact that Egypt is sending in Egyptian infantry, which is not their top tier, the spearmen might have a good chance of holding here, especially when they're accompanied with the tower, they're accompanied with Massilia, and they also have some archers on the this little hill section. So they're not firing, but I'm sure they will soon once they get some more quality targets. And yeah, sure enough, guys, Egypt is getting crushed here. This was a bit, I would say, a little bit of a silly move because he's kind of going in alone. He's sending in really trash tier units, which is not necessarily a bad idea. But I think it's better to mix trash with decent units just so you can get a foothold and not get instantly broken like the Egyptians did here. And yeah, we got a pretty brutal fight for this wall right now. I like this. They're breaking now, but I was going to say these Egyptians are still holding out, but they are starting to break. And now Egypt is sending up the top tier troops that they have. Not the best of the best, but definitely up there in skill. We have the thorax swordsmen making their way, and they're going to try to put a dent into this Parthian defense. So as they storm out of the siege tower, let's get another just a check on this cav that the defenders have sent out. They have taken this cool little hill up here, And Epirus is moving forward some skirmish cav. This is a short range, jabby cav. This is the Tarantine cav. I'm probably slaughtering that name. I rarely use them myself. That's why I don't know how to say their name. Anyways, they are pretty good. They're fast moving. They can throw off some jabbies and they can go for vulnerable targets. We'll see what they go for. They could also even do some damage to this cav. And if they run in and get a good hit on the noble riders, let's see if they... Oh, this is actually a good play by Swaby. They're going to try to... Yeah, good. They're going to silence. They're going to prevent them from throwing anything. Oh, they do throw a little bit there, but it doesn't matter. It's too late. And now we got a little bit of a horse fight. They're horsing around on the outskirts of this map, the outside of the settlement. And I think they just broke him, like, instantly. That was a pretty big fail from Epirus there. He needs to fall back, and sure enough, Parthia is going to come in to support his ally. And this was probably not going to lead to a fight. We'll see if these Lancers are pretty quick moving. I think they're just sending in the Lancers here to try to pin them down so the rest of the cav can, like, the cataphracts can move in. And they're really committing to this charge. They're getting close. They got a couple of guys, but I think Swaby's just going to keep running away. I don't think he's actually going to fight. We'll see. Actually, he's putting his foot down and he's fighting, but the other cav unit has abandoned him. And now, well, Parthia and Epirus are going to swarm in like sharks who just smelt blood, but now, yeah, okay, the noble riders are going to get out of there. That's smart from Swaby. You don't want to throw your cav away, even if they're wounded. I mean, they've only lost 5 guys, so it wasn't that bad of an exchange there. It wasn't that bad. So we'll see how that plays out on the outskirts. Let's go back over to the inside of the settlement, where the fighting is still raging on, and Egypt is starting to make a little bit of headway of taking some territory. And now we finally have his allies showing up to support. See, this is kind of now, like, the timing of your attack is really important for the attackers. So you really got to, like, go in together in most situations. You don't want to go in alone because you'll get focused down, and it's much more difficult for the defenders to... they have to micro more. They have to get more units involved when you're attacking as a team in multiple places. So now we have Tylus that is coming in with some warriors, and they should defeat these Eastern Spearmen in a long fight, unless the Spearmen get some sort of support. Alright, so yeah, sure enough, the Eastern Spearmen are breaking. Swaby is starting to make their way to the walls. And it's not a terrible assault here. It's not going too poorly. The cav is Oh, what's this? They are fighting now. So they actually do get one of the noble horse here. And they actually break one of the Parthian Lancer calves, but they're certainly not going to break the cataphracts, especially being outnumbered in this brawl of a fight. And Parthia is not willing to give up. He wants to finish off this unit, completely wipe them off the map. So that's one less cav unit he has to worry about. Meanwhile, it almost seems like the attackers are picking up the pace so they don't have to deal with the cav. Obviously, if they get inside the settlement, the cav is not going to be as effective and as deadly. So actually, cancel that. Swaby's going full in. He's sending everybody. He's like, you know what? Screw it. Everybody, we're going. Well, let's go. Let's get this cav. Let's get him out of here. He's sending everyone to this river to try to prevent Parthia from doing any damage with this cav. This seems a bit overkill. I mean, at the most, you'd probably send like 4 units with your cav, like 4 infantry. So I don't think Swaby's gonna commit. Yeah, I think he's gonna... There we go. He's got some sword masters he's sending, which Does he not have any spear units? It doesn't look like it, so he's going to have to rely on swords to kind of deal with this cav. And of course, they have cav of their own, so that helps as well. Let's go back over to the settlement here and see how the defense is going. One thing to note, guys, about this settlement is the challenge of positioning that you have when you have to make some choices as the defender. And if you look in the back here, you see this where all those archers are perfectly placed. That's a great angle for the archers, and you can see them just going wild right now, just firing wherever they can and trying to take out as many enemies as possible in a short amount of time. But the risky thing about this ramp, yes, it provides a great vantage point, but the risky thing is that if they get cut off, they're screwed. There's only one way that the attackers, or that you can leave this area, and it's here. So if the attackers actually push and cut off this retreat, all these guys up here are dead. Now, it does seem like the defenders are doing a pretty good job of making sure that doesn't happen. They've got some reserve lines here that are ready to hold the line in case the attackers abruptly break through and put some pressure on them. So I don't think it's going to be a problem, but that's just one thing you got to kind of, if you're playing the game and you're on defense on this map, it's one thing you kind of have to keep note of. Just make sure you don't get stuck up there because you can lose a lot of troops carelessly. So as we turn the HUD back on, we've noticed that the attackers are starting to overwhelm this initial area. Now, this is pretty normal for this battle. Usually this is how it plays out. After a little bit of time, the attackers take over this area and then the defenders begin to fall back. And you can see Parthia has 3 units of Parthian swordsmen ready to go, ready to hold. We also have Massilia with some axe warriors protecting this flank and really, blocking and slowing down the advance of the attackers. I think pretty soon he's gonna have to get these men out of here, because here's the challenge. This is open now, and so technically the attackers could rush some units in here and cut off the retreat. Maybe their mindset here is like, screw it, let's use up all of our ammo and then we could just charge these Parthian foot archers into melee, and it really doesn't matter if they die because they're just archers anyway. We got the most out of them. They do have over 100 kills right now, but this is also this brings up another point. With archers, you don't want to use their ammo too rapidly. You want to try to consistently use the ammo, and you want to make sure you have ammo for the beginning, the middle, and the end of the game, because there's many times where I've seen these siege battles where defenders will use their ammo way too quickly. They might have exhausted too much ammo on crappy units, and then when it gets to the end game and there's really good solid units that are hard to kill in close combat, you're going to be really wishing that you had some ammo left over to shoot at them. So yeah, that's one thing to keep in mind. All right, so Missaisili is breaking his axe warriors, and now the tribal warriors, which is an excellent infantry, is spearheading this flank, but Epirus is here to slow it down. Huge number of troops definitely is too much for the tribal warriors, which they break from the fight and they continue to hold this flank. I think at this point of the battle, oh, here comes another clash of warriors. Tribal warriors versus thorax swordsmen, a pretty nasty, pretty too elite. It's a battle of elites here, but I think the tribal warriors have them beat, if I am not mistaken. Of course, there's many variables that you have to consider: archer fire, supporting units, everything like that. But in a pure 1v1 fight, the tribal warriors have them beat. Now, this is really interesting here. The defenders are not done. This is actually kind of surprising. In most cases, you would see the defenders kind of fall back and kind of concede this area, but it seems like Massilia is not quite ready for that. He's not accepting defeat here, and he's sending up more Thorax swordsmen. Maybe he sees an opportunity to break through and get some vulnerable units, or maybe he just believes that they can take it back. But yeah, he's sending up the Thorax swordsmen, and they're gonna put up a great fight. All right, this is really scary moment for Massilia. Their flank is exposed. They push extremely far. They push very hard. Tyrus and Egypt can easily flank them, and that's exactly what they're going to do. They are going for the flank. Now, there is a risk to this flank, because if they turn their backs and face these guys, the archers are going to have an easy shot to their backs. But what's this? I don't see any archers in position. Well, they got some right here. They still have ammo. Get them back over. So they need to run them over here, and they'll have a perfect angle to the backs of these tribal warriors, but they're not going for it. Instead, they're firing over the buildings, and they might be going for enemy archers. I'm not really too sure, but this is really cool scene right here of the Egyptians continuing to stream into this settlement and push more brave men to try to take over and take this settlement. There it is. Here comes the archer fire. That's good to see. Is this another unit? Yes, it is. Thorax swordsman from Massilia. Another healthy unit of defenders running out into this open area, which makes it very easy for them to be flanked and overwhelmed. It's something you don't really want to see as if you're rooting for the defenders in this situation, because I feel like Massilia is getting a little too aggressive. Now, good news here. Tribal warriors breaking. So even though they flanked those Thorax swordsmen, the archer fire was way too much. These tribal warriors are not going to be going home. They're going to get crushed. They're going to get slashed and hacked down as they retreat. So let's zoom out for a second. Let's view this battle from a bird's eye view. Now, of course, the defenders are represented with the reds, or I'm sorry, other way around. Defenders are the yellow squares, attackers the red. And you can see that yellow is just not willing to give up this area, and they're even putting up a fight right here. They even have a unit ready to hold here to throw spears. They are now currently retreating units back to a more defensible position. So what that tells me is everything they have here is going to fight to the bitter end. They're going to fight to the death, bringing down as many with them as possible. And then from at that point, the attackers will then advance and begin the next stage of the battle. So let's sit back and enjoy these brave men who are giving the ultimate sacrifice for their city. Now, it also looks like we have some slingers that have gotten into position, Celtic slingers from Tyrus, and I don't even think they're necessary here in this situation because, well, maybe they are, but I feel like the archers are pretty much out of ammo. No, they still have ammo, so this might be worth it if you send a couple volleys up here. The slingers, if you concentrate slinger fire on one unit, it's brutal. As you can see, these archers have broken. They have no stomach to fight, but they've gotten 167 kills, which I believe makes them worth the gold that they cost. Again, it's a matter of, did they exhaust that ammo a little too early? That's something we'll see at the end of the battle, in the late stages of the battle. But here comes Egypt, Thorax Swordsman. This is the nail in the coffin, so to speak. And they are going to finally take control of this first opening stage of the fight. Once they clear up this Thorax Swordsman unit, and then they can kind of reorganize their forces. I think they're gonna have to run up, and yeah, they're gonna have to go up here and kind of take control of these. It's not gonna be a problem. Let's see, what do they got here? They have one Parthian swordsman unit with 159 kills, so this unit's actually doing pretty good. But they will fall to the Thorax Swordsmen, which are fresh. They also have 120 kills, but they have more men. They're fresh. So once they break through these guys, they're going to easily kill the foot archers, and they're going to take control of this first opening area. Now, another thing to note here, guys, is that this opening area can be a double-sided sword. It could be a sword that hurts and helps. I don't know what I'm going here with. You get what I'm saying. Because what happens if the attackers take control of this area, they can put archers on this ledge right here and fire down. That is why most of the time defenders fall back to this area. They very, very rarely hold here, just because the advantage the attackers get by taking the high ground. So, and that's exactly what we're seeing. The defenders are falling back and they're reorganizing. Now, as they're doing this, let's do a quick analysis of what's left for these defenders. Epirus is still looking very good in terms of numbers. Parthia still has a decent chunk of solid men, which includes the swordsmen and everything like that. Now, I've been so focused on the fight inside, I don't know exactly how the Cav battle went. I do apologize about that. I was just so intrigued with the brutal fighting going on in the inside. And then the final settlement for the defenders, Massilia, they're probably, I would say, the weakest of, because they really committed a lot of troops in that initial fight. So they still have good troops, though. They have 3 units of Thorax Swordsmen. They've got some Levy Freemen, which, whatever. And they also have some Cav running around, which could cause some problems. So, yeah, it's really going to come down to, I think, Parthia and Epirus. They've got the chunk of the forces, but Massilia can still make their voice heard with the few elite troops that they do have. Now, on the attacking side, Egypt is actually not doing too bad in terms of their numbers. I think at this point, Swaby has the strength for the attackers. Tylus, oddly enough, look extremely weak. They must have lost so many troops in that first engagement. They're down to a handful of archers and 1 unit of tribal warriors, which are pretty healthy. They do have another unit of tribal warriors over here helping out, but they're down to 50 men. So, yeah, Tylus really taking a beating there. So this is going to come down to Swaby. And Swaby it's a tricky faction because they're more of a support faction. They have a lot of fear abilities. They can really hinder the morale of the defenders. So we'll see how this plays out. This is going to be a really interesting conclusion to this fight. But as you can tell, both sides are preparing for their next wave, their next, chapter of this battle. So we're going to speed it up and start it once the next phase begins. All right, guys, we've sped it up and now we're here. Looks like Swaby is pushing forward some infantry because Parthia is actually moving out some cataphracts. This is a risky move because they're going to be open to a lot of archer fire. I'm not sure exactly what they're trying to accomplish here. Oof. Maybe they're trying to escape the city. No, that doesn't make sense either because there's a gate on the back of the settlement they could have used. I think they're just running out, and I think they're going to try to run down a lot of these units of infantry that are pretty separated from the main army. And that is a pretty good tactic, and they are breaking some tribal warriors. Yeah, look at that. They just broke tribal warriors. I know it was a depleted unit, but still, tribal warriors in a good choke point situation can really rack up a lot of kills. That's actually, I think, was a good move by Parthia, getting aggressive with their cav and trying to do some damage to the infantry. Now, while that's going on, look at this. How did this happen? So Swaby, as we were looking at the Parthian Cav, Swaby has committed some club levy to the fight. We also have some Bloodsworn here as well. But the Bloodsworn somehow ended up behind some Thuro Spears. It's almost deceiving. It looks like the Thuro Spears are protecting Swaby, but that's not the case. They're cutting off reinforcements, and now this Bloodsworn is taking on a unit by themselves, some Thuro Spears and some Levy Freemen. So, yeah, that was it. I don't know exactly how this happened, but it was an interesting play here from Epirus. Like, in a good way, not in a bad way. They've got them locked. And here we go. Reinforcements are coming in to try to help the Bloodsworn who find themselves cut off from the main army. A little bit of a charge there. We got some troops falling back, or are they breaking? They are breaking, but it's just club levy. It's not a big deal. Check this out, though. The Bloodsworn, I think they underestimated a little bit, because the Bloodsworn, even though cut off from the main army, are starting to break some of these units that are trying to hold them off. I mean, they are taking on Thuro Spears. They're not as good as the Bloodsworn. I mean, in close combat, the Thuro Spears do have throwing capability. Let's see if they break Mercedes. Oh, he's gonna cut off. He's gonna call off the fight here, and he's actually gonna focus his men to flank the other Thuro Spears who are cutting off the Bloodsworn. So now these Thuro Spears have found themselves surrounded. If I'm these units, you charge in. You got to charge in. You cannot let this unit flank your other Thuro Spears. It doesn't look like he's doing that. At the very least, do they have any capability of throwing right now? They're not throwing, so that tells me that they do not have any ammo, so they need to charge in. This has utterly backfired for Epirus. Their poor men are caught between a rock and a hard place, and they're getting no support. There we go. They break the fight, and the Bloodsworn survive. And look at this. They're even using the Bloodsworn to flank through a gap and go for these slingers who are way out of position and getting absolutely destroyed by the attacking defender, or the attacking archers. Look at that. That is crazy. And the Bloodsworn run them off. The Bloodsworn here are most likely going to perish, but they did more than they needed to, with 161 quality kills, and they've caused chaos in the defenses of Parthia, Epirus, and Basilia. Here comes some reinforcements. Parthian swordsmen trying to slow down the advance of the Thorax swordsmen of Egypt. Let's go ahead and get a bird's eye view of the situation, because we do have another fight going on here. Now, this is in my opinion, a more tricky spot for the attackers, because it's so close to the town center in this beautiful big hill, which the defenders can use as a vantage point to fire down hatred upon your units, where it's much more difficult in this side of the fight. So we'll see how this plays out. So let's see. I think we've got some club levy capturing this gate, which is smart, so they can't use it. The defenders, that is. We're just kind of getting a bird's eye view. Let's go look at the tactical view. We do have a unit of cav kind of chilling outside the city. They're not really going to do much here because the gates have been conquered. I think there is a breach point over here they could use, but it's currently being defended. Look at this. They're well aware of cav outside the city, so they've got some sword masters kind of defending it. But more and more infantry of Swaby are getting closer to the fight. Looks like Egypt's going to focus mostly on the, this would be their left-hand side. And then Swaby is going to focus more of their attention on the right, which is the more difficult side, which makes sense because it's, you know, they have more troops. And they're also being accompanied with tribal warriors. I think the last tribal warrior unit on the battlefield right now for Tylus. So, Epirus is doing a good job of defending this spot. They also have their cav. This is smart. They're using their cav. Not very effective inside the settlement, but they're using them as basically like a dragoon. They're a fast-moving skirmish unit that are just kind of helping out where they can. And if they do see an opportunity to charge a gap or whatever, they can do that quickly and maybe run down some archers or something of that nature. We'll see how this side plays out. Let's go back over to the other front, and you can see the defenders are starting to run low on troops. And the question is, are they going to continue to maintain this position, or are they going to fall back? Whoop. Are they going to fall back to the inner workings of their settlement? And there's a couple issues with that. If they do fall back, that makes this area open to flank, but Epirus is preventing that for sure. So I think their next line of defense is going to be right here. And then, ooh, we got some archers from Tylus. Some slingers, actually, making their voices heard. So even though Tylus is exhausted of infantry, of close combat infantry, they still have their skirmishers, which can rack up a lot of kills. Keep that in mind. Never underestimate, even if one of your opponents has lost their entire force of melee infantry, if they still have archers and their teammates still have infantry, they can still be a nuisance on your defenses, and that's exactly what is happening here. But the defenders using their these are the what do you call them? The Thorough Spears. They are crushing. Look at this. Oh, this unit. But what are they? Club Levy? You're wasting your ammo on Club Levy? Now, I get it. Club Levy's pretty good for their price. They're pretty capable, but I don't know. I feel like they're kind of wasting ammo in that regard. I think they should save it for, I don't know, Sword Masters. That seems like a better target. But who knows? I mean, it's not terrible. It's not the end of the world. If anything, I would set these guys up a little differently. I would put one here and then one over here, so they kind of get an angle, a flanking angle on these Sword Masters. They're doing the best they can to soften up these Sword Masters as much as possible, but they're going to probably have to charge in here soon if they don't want to lose any ground. There we go. The Sword Masters are breaking through. This is the moment of truth. Are they going to, is Epirus going to send down these men a charging downhill charge? Or a charging downhill charge? You get what I'm saying. Or are they going to maintain their position? It looks like they're going to maintain their position, and these guys are actually going to fall back. The Sword Masters are falling back. So that's an interesting play right there. And now we've kind of gotten into another lull in the battle, I suppose, if you want to say that. A very... I think both sides are kind of being tactical. They're kind of thinking about, okay, what do we need to do in this situation? How can we break through? Here comes another charge of infantry. It's just Club Levy charging in, though. It's not a big deal. It's nothing to really write home about. But yeah, I think we're going to go to another slow point in the battle. And what we're going to do is fast forward to the next stage. And guys, this will be the last stage of the battle. We are down to pretty much 20 minutes, which is kind of crazy that there's still 20 minutes left in this fight. So get ready, guys. I hope you saved some of your snacks for this stage of the fight, because this is where the nail biting will begin. This is where it's going to be fight tooth and nail, trying to gain something here, and it's going to be fun to see how this plays out. Well, folks, here we go. Here we go. This is it. The beginning of the end, as we watch the Sword Masters charge in uphill at the Parthian defense. And this is the, excuse me, this is the final stand of the defenders. This is it. Do they have enough to defeat the attackers? We'll find out soon. So they're currently just attacking one side. We got some great support here by the Thorough Spears, throwing their javies right over the heads of their allies and landing safely in the thighs of the enemies, in the faces of the enemies. So I don't believe the attackers are going to push here. I think that's actually a, well, I think that's a pretty smart idea. I think they should focus their attention. It's tough to say at this stage of the battle. Let's see. These archers have a really good position here. I'm sure both sides are praying that the other side loses or runs out of ammo, because the ammo has been a major problem for these forces. And look at this. Oh, man. Look at the formation of these troops here. You got troops slinging. Oh, that's cool. Armies formed up. You got to keep the shields in front. Keep the shields in front of where the archers are firing from, so you can properly block their shots. No! That's cool. I always like when armies form up like this and it actually looks like a proper army. You know what I mean? So they are still slinging. They got the Celtic slingers in action. And I think at this point, it's not a full-on commitment. It's kind of just like, hey, let's send a unit up there, one unit at a time. Let's make it difficult for the defenders to hit us with their arrows. And we're going to slowly bleed the defenders. And from the defending side, what they need to do is they need to make sure they use their ammo wisely. Make sure you go for targets that are worth going for. Don't waste your shots on Club Levy. Now, it looks like, as we speak, they're having a bit of a skirmish off. Archer v. Archer, which is fine. Taking out enemy archers, that's a big win for both sides, if any side can do that, really. Got some Cretan versus Cretan battles going on. And here we go, more forces coming up to support. Tylus sending in some slingers that I wish they didn't send up the slingers, because that just screams they're out of ammo. Even though a good player can easily look at a skirmish unit and realize when they're out of ammo, and if you don't know how that is, they take out their secondary weapon. When they take out their secondary weapon and hold it, that means they're out of ammo. But, you know, sometimes it's good to just have this banner with the archer symbol on it just in the background. It makes the enemy think you have more archers than you do. So, yeah, I don't know. I think he prematurely charged in this. It's not the end of the world. It's a small little critique, but personally, I would have held on to those slingers. You can also use them as meat shields. Kind of just mix them in with your infantry and they'll absorb some of the enemy archer fire if they still have some left over. So as this progresses, again, it's a slow burn at this point. It's very much a big skirmish, and look at a big win for the defenders here. We got some bow women that are fleeing from the fight. They've got 130 kills though, so it's not like they didn't get some kills. And now it looks like they might be committing more infantry, and they might be getting pretty serious about this assault. Oh, this looks nice. Look at that. Look at these units lined up, ready to go. But yeah, they're going to charge pretty soon, I can imagine. And look at this. Look at this. Swaby has broken through that first initial defense. And now I don't know why they're letting them, like, I think they should plug this gap. Like, don't let them charge in, like, close in. Don't let them break through. But yeah, they kind of let Swaby kind of come in here, and now they're going to cut him off. I don't know how that's going to play out, because these are sword masters, and even though they're outnumbered by the thorough spears, they're going to handle these thorough spears pretty well. now we even have Epirus getting kind of aggressive here, kind of pushing it a little too far, sending in some thorough spears that have, I imagine, ran out of ammo. And yeah, get back. What are you doing? Do not charge the enemy like that. That is a losing fight because they can flank around you. And look how organized the attackers are getting, lining up their troops, getting ready to assault. I mean, I just love the look of this. The look of all these troops positioned here, ready to go in. So what's the power of balance say? Well, it's pretty dang even, guys. It's very even. There is a concerning amount of forces at the town centers still. Very good forces too. Parthian swordsmen, thorough spears. We got the thorax swordsmen. We got cataphracts. We got a royal peltis unit. This is some top tier units. So even if they do break through these guys, which it looks like they're going to soon, they've got quite the fight ahead of them, and they better make sure they save some of their ammo because they're gonna have a tough fight if they don't have any. Oh jeez, look at this. The sword masters that were cut off are still doing just fine, and now it's causing Massilia to throw in a general unit in support.
Understood.
Parthia has sent another unit of swordsmen to block this pathway, this choke point. And yeah, it's getting to the point where the attackers really need to start making some progress here. And look at this. Look at this. I thought for sure the defenders were going to stay up on this hill, but they're actually venturing forth. They're sending reinforcements. They do. I think this is it. Like, this is where they're like, okay, we're going to win it here. We need to go and hold. There's no retreating here. Let's win it here because, oh, I see what they're doing. This cav can now flank. Look at this cataphract unit. It can now go down here and get behind. Oh, and Egypt knows that. They're sending some royal thorax swordsmen that way to try to cut it off. So we'll see what he does with that cataphract. That might be huge if that cataphract can actually keep going and get some good kills. Now we have a nice thorax versus thorax battle, and Massilia has a lot of troops here. This is very concerning. The attackers are going to have to send over more, but it seems like what they're doing is they're just kind of slowing down the advance of the defenders, and they're going to keep focusing their attention here because I'm sure they feel like if they can just cause a chain rout, if they can break through here quickly, it's going to create utter chaos. But look at this. They are not going to fall so quickly. Royal Peltis now moving forward to support their brothers in arms who are currently holding the main defensive position. This is going to be pretty big right here. This is going to be big. Let's not forget, though, that we do have the Swabian general, Sword Masters. They're moving forward as well. We also have some cav units. They're not really going to do much, but surprised if I would get my general going, and I would oh, I guess you can't. Egypt's over here. Egypt is push. This is important here. This Egyptian push, it's kind of containing the defenders from full out flanking the attackers. Now we've got Egyptian archers coming in to support, just to throw bodies at these guys and slow them down. Wait, but they're also sending some royal thorax swordsmen. They already have 35 kills. I'm sure they're going to rack up a lot more kills over here. And now it looks like Massilia might be having some issues here because Massilia just has thorax swordsmen. They're taking on a higher grade of swordsmen. So we'll see how that progresses. Now we got some major archer fire coming in as well. No, these are the Royal Peltis. Oh, look at the reach on these guys. And they're going for the general, but is it really landing? No, they have yet to kill us. They're kind of just wasting shots. I mean, I think they should have held their fire. And now the Oathsworn. Oh, such a good unit, that Oathsworn. Such a good unit. They are going to be able to tear up some enemy units, especially a depleted Parthian sword unit that is, well, they're still fresh, but they're going to have a tough time against the Oathsworn. Now the Royal Peltis are committing to the fight. Check how cool this charge is. Okay, I guess they weren't really charging. They're just kind of getting into position here, supporting the Parthian. There it is. Now they're committing. I love that fight going on in the background. Let's go ahead and zoom out, see the HUD, and check out how this defense is holding. It is not holding, guys. A gap has been exposed. Sword Masters are going through the gap, and they're now going to flank these units. Where is the Cav? Where's the Cav? The Parthian Cav has decided to commit over on this side. Wow. And they are getting blasted right now. The Cataphracts are getting blasted by, I think, was it the Sword Masters? Yeah, the Sword Masters threw a bunch of jabbies, and the Cataphracts are now down to 50, 49, and counting. Oh, 48 now. They lost a lot, not worth it. Oh, this is not good for the defenders. They cannot lose any generals here. Now, they got to win here. There's a good chance that Massilia and Parthia can win against these swordsmen, but these swordsmen are not going to break anytime soon. They just have to hold out. And then if they can cut... Oh, uh-oh. Good play here. Good play here. This is what I wanted to see earlier. Boom. Because I saw this unit going through the gap, flanking around. I was thinking, where are those Cataphracts? And great charge there. That might have just saved hundreds of lives and potentially the battle. That one move right there might have just saved the battle. We don't know for sure. We'll find out soon enough. Go back over to this side. Very good fight. We got both generals, Swabian general and Tylus's general, the Oathsworn, going in. Now we've got Cav charging in as well. They're just, at this point, they're throwing the kitchen sink into the battle. They're sending everything they got. They're just throwing whatever they have to try to break these defenses.
As you command.
Now we got another charge from the Cataphracts, but this is not going to be as fruitful. Oh, I see. They see a gap. There's a gap in the lines, and they're going to muscle their horses there, and the Egyptians are going to try to cut it off and slow them down, which it works a little bit, and Parthia is breaking now. The Cataphracts are down to 44 men. Oh, man, this is going to be close. Sword Masters... Royal Peltis down to 123. We got Cav running in. We've got Tylus with this Oathsworn 130. The Sword Masters are at 128. So this is a close fight over here. It's going to be tough to see who's going to win it. Hoplites down to 43, but Hoplites kind of suck in fighting. I feel like they're going to really struggle. Oh, Egypt has broken through. Egypt has broken through, but look at this. Parthius now hammer and anviling. This is a smart move. He's trying to take out the serpent's head. He's trying to cut off the serpent's head by killing the Egyptian general. The Egyptian general is just fighting back to back, and it's not enough, and they break. The Egyptian general is gone. That's a huge blow to the Egyptian forces. Even though they're winning this fight over here, they now have to deal with the Cataphract. They've got some thorax swordsmen who have 124 men. Oh, this is not good. This is not good. If this flank falls, this is over. Because the cataphracts are going to be able to charge these guys. We'll see how it plays out. They've got to kill Epirus's general quick. Look at this. The cataphracts are leaving the fight. That's kind of surprising. Why are they going that way? Interesting. I would have charged them and killed these archers really fast. And then rinse and repeat. Once you kill the archers, these thorax swordsmen can go pin these guys down, and then you can charge these guys. They're going to form shield wall. Oh, they're going to countercharge. Oh, it's tough to fight the cataphracts in an open space like this. But look who's falling back. The Oathsworns are falling back. They are now outnumbered by the Royal Peltis. And they're re-engaging them. And I wonder if these guys win here, yeah, they're gonna fall back and hit them on the flank. Oh, this is coming down to the wire, guys. I love this. Okay, it's certainly true. Certainly true. It's coming down to the wire. All right, now they are gonna countercharge, and Epirus is in trouble. They need desperate support here. Their general is surrounded. This might be the end for Epirus, and it's gonna come down to Mesacles' 1 unit of thorax swords and then the 1 unit of royal cataphracts. Very good teamwork here between Mesacles and Parthia. Look at that. They just defeated the swordsmen. Can Epirus hold out? Can Epirus hold out? They're holding out for now. Here we go. They might have done enough. Epirus might have done enough to secure this victory. The balance of power is still dead even, guys, with such few troops. That is kind of rare. And now these guys they're exhausted, but they got to keep moving. They got to keep fighting. We got multiple units getting flanked and surrounded. Oh, look at that. A nice charge from the cataphracts. These cataphracts have 200 kills. The final mosh pit, the final stage of the fight right here. This is the end of the end. Tylus is down to 36. Swaby, 56. Epirus starting to break. Massilia, they no longer have a general, but they have 113 men still fighting in good condition. They're only winded, whereas, oh no, the generals are fresh here. This general is exhausted. They got to reorganize. Oh my gosh, this is coming down to the wire, guys. Oh, Parthia's breaking. If the cataphracts break, oh, it's going to be close. Can they break the cataphracts? They're down to 10. They've got them in prolonged melee. This is not good. Stab the horses, men. They're down to 8, but they were breaking, but no more. And now we've got the Oathsworn forming shield wall. Just, oh, look at this little fight. This little duel in the back lines. Let's kind of watch it from this angle. Oh, I think they just broke the Parthian cataphracts. And now we've got a flanking force of sword masters. Oh, this is not good for the thorax swordsmen. There's still 82 of them, but they're taking on 32 sword masters and 23 Oathsworn. Even though they outnumber them, they're outmatched in skill. This arrow tower, though, is certainly helping them. So it's like having a small unit of archers kind of helping you out. Oh, man. Oh, no, they're breaking. The Oathsworn are breaking. He's doing everything he can for them to not break. Look at this, guys. It is down. Oh, they're gone. It's now up to the sword masters, but they're getting pelted by the arrow tower in the back. If only they were able to neutralize that arrow tower and get it out of there. It looks like, unless a miracle happens, it looks like Massilia is going to ironically be the last one standing, as they were the weakest of the defenders in terms of numbers. But yeah, they're going to win. I don't see them winning this. They're down to 15 men. I don't care how good these sword masters are. You're not going to master your way out of this situation. The balance of power is in favor of the defenders. And there you have it, guys. That is the battle. It comes down to 55 men of the Thorax Swordsman. These men are, oh, there it is. Wow, what a fight that was, guys. What a fight all over the place. What a great journey this was. All right, let's go ahead and end the battle, or end the replay. Look at the results. So this was sent in by Upbeat Goat. He was the Epirus player, I do believe. If I'm wrong with that, I do apologize. Sometimes I'm an idiot and I forget who uploaded it. But nonetheless, thank you for all the thank you to all the players for all the support and this really awesome battle. So a perfect title for this this victory, being that Epirus was in the fight. But yeah, this was a great fight from both sides. A great struggle that was down to the wire. And it really came down to, I think the Cataphracts really did a lot of work there at the end. And Massilia doing a great job of preserving his infantry to the very end. So that was awesome, guys. Let me know what you thought of the battle down in the comments below. And anything else you want to talk about, go for it. I do appreciate the support, guys. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more battles in the future. I'm going to start uploading more consistently every day and everything, so look out for that. Also, I'm going to be streaming as well, so look out for my live streams. Thanks for watching, guys, and I'll see you next time.